Hey guys, thanks for coming back. All right, part 2. Now we are going to further show that we are in the crater. I have jumped a little bit ahead in his succession, and I'm going to show you basically 2 in a row that are of his shorter ones, and then skip ahead a little bit again and show you another one. And that will basically confirm the fact that we're in the crater, and it shows it from, well, several different angles. And I'll kind of talk about it in between because, again, where the theory and the all his information has led to this day, like I said, he just put out new information a month ago, or a couple of weeks ago at this point, and the start of this theory was 4 years ago. So he started putting this information out about 4 years ago. So he's definitely expanded on it. Even where we're going to finish in this video, he's far beyond that. I just want to show you that, you know, where the information progressively leads and how quickly it goes. Wow, yeah, it's... Ultimately, we're not a round blue ball floating through space. That's what this ends up with. Now, however much of the other theory you want to, you know, I don't know, buy into is the right word, but subscribe to and look at and go, wow, yeah, that's most likely the case. There's a lot of information in his videos, and a lot of it is stuff that requires a bunch of esoteric and occult knowledge and understanding. And don't let that, you know, deter you if you don't have that under your belt, because many people that I know have watched through this that did not have any of that understanding, and although, yeah, those parts went way over their head, they still were able to go through everything and get the basic concept. And again, that's really what I want us to do, and I want to get this stuff into the hands of bigger researchers with bigger audiences, and who have spent their lives doing research, and look into this and go at least as far as all of the videos that this guy has and the depth that he goes into in his research. So like I said, where we're going to end in these 2 videos is not even close. It doesn't even begin. But I just wanted to show you how cool this theory is and how much time and effort he's put in. Again, this is 4-year-old stuff, and I assure you he's kept going with it, and he's got fantastic things that have built upon one another, and it's really cool. So I'm going to start with a video here that's going to basically start with an old map, and again, he does bring in a lot of old maps that get discovered and just kind of puts it all together. So let's start this journey.
So, you want the truth about Antarctica? Fasten your seatbelts, here it comes. Let's zoom in on the moon. The moon is the reflection of Earth. Not the little ball you have been told, but a gigantic Earth. And in one of these craters we live. The crater Sulpicius Gallus M. Probably you won't believe a word I say, but I will prove it to you within the next minute. Watch this. Take a freeze frame of the crater. Darken the image. Now let's make a 3D map. Watch the differences in height. Next, we take the official Antarctica map. Flip horizontally, rotate a bit, skew it a bit, put it on top of the 3D map. Well, for me that's a match. But for you unbelievers, let's watch it in detail. Now, a lot of people won't believe this, but what are the chances that I take a random crater of the moon, make a 3D map of it that matches the map of Antarctica perfectly? The chances are 0, except when you know what you are doing. If you want to know how I got there, I explained it in my previous videos. To be honest, this insight was a complete surprise for me too, because I thought there was no Antarctica. So both theories are true. You have the ice wall of the flat Earth, within the middle the North Pole, and you have the continent Antarctica. Only it is much bigger and it is not surrounded by water. There is probably no South Pole, as we are not on a little ball. Now I will look for the passage to get out of the crater. Someone who saw my video gave a reply saying that the symbol of Earth in the series Stargate was this. You can see the resemblance with Sulpicius Gallus M. Now I will give you some information about the Pillars of Hercules, because I think that is the clue to get out of the crater. For this I will take Wikipedia. According to Plato's account, the lost realm of Atlantis was situated beyond the Pillars of Hercules, in effect placing it in the realm of the unknown. Renaissance tradition says the pillars bore the warning nec plus ultra, also non plus ultra, nothing further beyond, serving as a warning to sailors and navigators to go no further. So when the psychopaths tell you to go no further, you can be damn sure there is something beyond. So where are the Pillars of Hercules? So they tell us the Pillars of Hercules are situated in Spain and Morocco. Let's investigate that. Well, they seem to have the right angle in Morocco. In Spain, some people know it too. The Pillars of Hercules remind me of the favorite subject of the Freemasons, the Pillars of Jachin and Boaz. So, you destroy the pillars, the symbolic destruction of the gate. Sadly enough for them, that was exactly the event that got me searching for the truth. Later on, the Spanish changed their symbols into plus ultra. There is more. Columbus discovered the New World. I think the New World was not about the Americas. It wouldn't surprise me that Columbus discovered the passage out of the crater. Now, why am I saying this? Because when you look on the Antarctica map, you have a place called the Hercules Inlet. When you put that on the new map I made, you see the gateway of the two pillars. When you flip the map, you can clearly see the two pillars and the gateway. Another way to get out would simply be walking all the way out of Antarctica into the New World. Maybe the New World Order is not the New World Order, but the New World Order, the small elite that knows there is a new world beyond. The same people that made the Antarctica map. They know. So, in World War II, with the improvements of air flight, the Americans must have seen the bigger Antarctica. Or the Germans, British, Russians, but nobody says a word. Why? That's because there are no Germans, British or American. They are all servants of the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire that slowly morphed into the Holy Roman Empire and the Vatican. Top of the military are the Templars. The Templars' cross is everywhere. In England, Germany, the Vatican, Russia, and so on. All the elites are members of the Templars. And in the meanwhile, during World War II, they are hiding behind their neutrality in their hiding place Switzerland, headquarters of the Templars, with their Templar treasure, and looting the whole of Europe with their favorite criminals, the Nazis. After the war, the German people are slaughtered, and the real criminals flee to the US and the USSR, where they work on their new global deception, the fake space program. To the US, they sent one of their top criminals, Werner von Braun. There, he creates NASA, responsible for the fake solar system and the fake moon landings. Now I will end with this image. The eagle of the Roman Empire lands on biosphere Earth, crater on the bigger Earth, and covers it with the acacia, symbol of the Freemasons. In the back, you see the little ball Earth, the fake replacement of the real Earth. You also see the number 11, the two pillars. They are manipulating our subconscious. There is a word for this whole story, and sooner or later, these people will get what they deserve. Thanks for watching. In this video, I will present you the holy grail of the Flat Earth movement. And no, it's not the United Nations map. One of the viewers of my videos was intrigued by the plus ultra explanation in my previous video. He mentioned the existence of a secret society called the Plus Ultra Society. So I examined this society with some surprising results. Plus Ultra is a secret society comprised of the greatest minds throughout history that created Tomorrowland. Their motto is Cras est noster, which means tomorrow is ours in Latin. It was founded in 1889 by Nikola Tesla, Thomas Edison, Jules Verne and Gustave Eiffel. It went on to include other members such as Mark Twain, Ray Bradbury and Walt Disney. So, they created Tomorrowland. That reminded me of the music festival in Belgium. More about that later. So I looked at some photos of that society, and the first photo that struck me was this photo. Ray Bradbury, in the middle, is working with some colleagues on a map. Look at the form of the circle. It reminded me immediately of Sulpicius Gallus M. Look closely at the form of the water. Now, let's look again at the structure of the landscape. Let's fill it with water and put the buildings on. This photo was taken in the 50s. We're now 60 years later. I think we are looking at the plans of the new world. They are colonizing the bigger Earth. Now you know why every country on the planet is in financial debt. They are using our money to build a world of their own. So Ray Bradbury, science fiction author, was a good friend of Walt Disney. So when I had seen this photo, I thought, let's examine Disneyland from the air, and bingo! I immediately saw Sulpicius Gallus M. Let's put the Antarctica map on it. On the Japanese Disneyland, I was looking for the Tomorrowland Festival in Belgium Boom, and I saw the same map. Same map in Tomorrowland Brazil. So I think the same people are behind this Tomorrowland Festival and Disneyland. I always found it very strange how some nobodies from Belgium suddenly make this gigantic festival and export this abroad. That's very strange. Who is paying all this? This festival is clearly created to promote chemical drugs and bring people in a state of hypnosis, just like Disneyland.
Friends from over 75 countries traveled to Belgium. Thank you for being part of this amazing fairy tale. You are by far the best crowd in the universe.
Let's return to the map of Disneyland America. What immediately struck me was the Tom Sawyer Island, but sadly enough, it only shows North and South America. Now, first, let's look at some Disney attractions. Here you have the Matterhorn, and here a submarine base. That reminded me of some stories of Jules Verne, Journey to the Center of the Earth, and the story of Captain Nemo and his submarine, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It also reminded me of the German Nazi submarine base on Antarctica. Let's compare the Antarctica map with the Disney map. Looks identical. True after all? Then there must be a passage around to enter the base. So Disney is showing us the real Earth map. So let's go back to the Tom Sawyer Island. I searched and found the first map of Tom Sawyer Island. And it looked kind of strange, and I thought, this is a fantasy map. But last week I looked again, and suddenly I saw a different map. Let's look in detail. So, the whole world map is shown here. But why are the Americas on their head? Why is everything connected to each other? Australia fitted on the tree. What a coincidence. But what is the centerpiece? I don't get it. Well, finally I thought, let's look for this form on Sulpicius. And whoa, it fits. So you take our existing world map, you cut off the Americas, flip it horizontally and put it on its head under Asia. But you have to skew because you have to hold account with perspective. That is why Africa looks so small. It is probably the lowest point of our biosphere. But what is this centerpiece? The only thing I can think of is that this part of Earth has been flooded, and we are looking at a 50-million-year-old map. For the moment, I have no other explanation. The most similar map I could find was this one of Martin Waldseemüller, 1507. So now I would like to thank Uncle Walt for this map. Oops, am I seeing someone else here? This is a building of the Disney Studios. Those dwarves, that's us. We are holding up the pyramid. We are fat of the junk food, poisonous water, chemtrails, polluted air. But the day we step aside, their pyramid will collapse. Here is a little teaser for my next video about the real control masters. Thanks for watching.
All right, now we're getting closer into the idea of the crater. Now, I'm going to jump ahead a couple from what his normal progression is, and I'm going to show you another one with some good ancient maps, and then I'm just going to hopefully let that be enough for you to go and follow through, because he's got one about a moon landing and some other really cool ones on here that just are worth your time, worth watching. And I on purpose left them out because they just, I can't put everything in here, and I want you to go and find this stuff for yourself because it's really interesting. And you'll negate the whole idea of it until you don't. And I know that what I've shown you is not enough to sell you on it, but it's certainly enough to hopefully get you to go investigate for yourself, which is all of what we need to do anyway. So at the very least, go investigate all of his stuff. I'm going to play you one more of his videos. It's really cool. And then let's do that.
Today I will present you an old Ice Age map. Not a map I found on the attic or in an old library. No, it's a map that has been here for thousands of years. The only problem was we don't have the eyes to see it. And our biggest problem is that we are looking for a Columbus map with eyes, because we think that is the real map. So let's explain the Columbus hoax. You take the Columbus map and you create 4 points. Let's make it easy. 2 B's from Brussels to Boston, and 2 C's from California to China. So let's change the new world map into the old world map. You flip the Americas horizontally and put it under Eurasia. Now you make a circle. You sail from Brussels to Boston and from California to China. This system is surrounded by an ice wall. So now you sail east from Europe to India. But Columbus said, what if we would sail west? Well, a little child would know you would hit the ice wall. But not Columbus. No, because Columbus had some powerful friends. So Columbus started sailing west. And you know what? He discovered a new continent. Was it a new continent? Well, of course it was. If you take the old continent, you flip it horizontally and put it on another place, it's a new continent. If you want to go from Brussels to Boston, that's easy. But if you want to go from California to China, the only way you are getting there is on a ball-shaped world. That's the way you change a circle into a ball. Now we have the new world. From the moment Columbus discovered the Americas, you have rectangular maps, or you have the double ball map. When you see a doubled ball map, that means they have you by the balls. The only real world maps are circular maps. Of course, this all sounds unbelievable, but let me prove it to you with an old map I found. How did I get to this map? I'll give you a short review. 1. The moon is the reflection of Earth. 2. We live in a crater called Sulpicius Gallus M. 3. Antarctica fits perfectly in crater Sulpicius Gallus M. 4. The Americas are positioned in a completely different way. So, now that we have the real world map, it's fairly easy to find an Ice Age map. So, as a lot of European culture has been destroyed by the Catholic parasites, I thought maybe there is some knowledge left in the Muslim culture. So I typed in old Muslim map. Bingo! I bumped into the Ibn al-Wardi map. I hope I pronounced that correctly. There are different versions of it, probably all copies of the original one, but by accident I ended up with this one. Luckily, through the ages, people tried to explain this map and they put some names on it. Wrong. That's because they think Columbus. But if you will compare it with my map, you will see a totally different story, and you will see that this very simple map is a very sophisticated map, and it's very detailed. Okay, let's compare it. Let's take a look at the continents. First, the Eurasia-Africa part. Look at the form. Then you have Africa, Australia, and India. Now let's take a look at the Americas. Notice how the Americas are not an island, and at that moment I realized that this was an Ice Age map. So let's take the Ice Age Columbus map. North America completely frozen, Northern Europe and Asia frozen too, but in Europe you see some reddish color. That could mean that the ice is melting and we are at the end of the Ice Age. If we are talking about the last Ice Age, that would mean this map is from 10,000 BC. So then we take a look at South America. At the west side we have a lot of melting ice. And apparently you can walk from South America straight into Antarctica. Let's take a look at the rest of the map. At the surroundings of the continents. Very similar. Now let's take a look at Antarctica. You see the center point, and from the center point you have a big sea going into the bigger Earth. The only problem of this map is this straight line here. It's called the Nile on a later map. This probably means that this map is a copy of an older Ice Age map, and this line was added to try to fit the Columbus map. So I suspect there must be an older map without this line. After finding this map, I started finding other circular maps, but of European origin. Don't look at the text, but at the shape of the water. Then I bumped into a very special map. It was more like a painting. The shape of the water is similar, but at the top you can clearly see a boat. It is the Ark of Noah on Mount Ararat. In a previous video I stated the Ark stranded outside the crater, but apparently it stranded in the crater. So Mount Ararat is on Antarctica. And then it struck me. Listen to the words. Mount Ararat, Antarctica. Mount Ararat, Antarctica. Now I understand where the word Antarctica is coming from. And slowly it is dawning on me. 10,000 years ago, people knew the shape of the Earth. They even mapped it out. This information has been stolen from us, and I know who's to blame. There are stories that we are in the end of times, and this is the last pope. Well, I think they are right. This is the last pope. And we are in the end of times, but not for us. This is the end of the new world. The old world is back.
It's starting to get good. All right, and we're not even close. We're not even close yet. So, anyway, I just want to share this with you, and I hope you're enjoying it so far because it's fantastic. And let's go ahead and take a look at Crater Guy for a moment. His website. So here he is. This is all his videos. So if we go down here to the bottom, this is where we started. The moon is a reflection of a gigantic Earth. Final proof. Now these first two, that's where it really starts. And he just kind of builds on the first one and second one, and this one really kind of encompasses all of them. So we started there, and then we hit the illusionary solar system, the star map revealed. We did Antarctica, Walt Disney, then I skipped those two, and the last one we did was the Ice Age map. So I highly recommend, at this point, even going back and just doing all of them again from the beginning and go through all of it. Here's the we did not land on the moon, or we did land on the moon, but not the way you think. That is such a cool video. And he gets into all the NASA stuff, and he shows all sorts of cool different things. We get up into here, Escape from Flat Earth and The Secret of the Labyrinth. He starts talking about a lot more just weird Tartarian stuff, and he gets into the radio waves, and he gets into a lot of different aspects of a lot of different things. The New York and the Third Temple of Solomon is a fantastic video. It gets into all sorts of stuff. By the time you get up into here and you start watching the rebuilding of Giza and Crater Earth continents and time zones, official new world map, that's when he really starts putting his final pieces together of the angles of it and really starts getting the lighting schemes down. He comes up with a theory for the sun, because that's still not necessarily understood, but he's got a pretty good way of figuring it. And you get up into here and he starts actually getting into some NASA stuff, and even he talks about, of course it's dangerous. It's one of the videos, it's a couple of the videos that he got burned on, playing around with NASA stuff and finding out later that it was fake or whatever, but he came up with a pretty good method for some real stuff. He had some inside people send him some real stuff. And so, anyway, it's a fantastic journey up until, like I said, his most recent one was 2 weeks ago, Crater Earth, War of the Schwartz Stone. So, but this one right here, Crater Earth and Flight Routes, wow. He just put so much more stuff together even. So, at any rate, I would have to say that this is a fantastic new theory that really will puts them together with a whole different perspective of the level of they lied to us, because we know they lied to us, but we're starting to figure out, wow, they really lied to us about, like, just the significance of it is huge, and the implications for all of this are also huge. It changes up where extraterrestrials, right, come from, and it changes the idea of, is there an out there? I still think maybe there is, but wow, it's a game changer theory that we've got going here with tons and tons of proof for much of it. So, again, I say enjoy. Thank you for watching so far, and happy hunting.